I asked him, Uncle, when you die, where are you going? He said, same place as you. I told him I agree. The first stop I stop and you stop is in the same place. And that's 6 feet under. And I ask him, where then? He says, no, that's it. And I tell him, well, look, what do you believe in as a man? Why are you here? He says to respect people, to respect myself, to be good to people, to be good to myself and my body's boundaries and parameters, etc. And I said to him, our book teaches us these principles as well. But my book and the author of my book teach me that where you just lay in the ground and rot, I have a chance for eternal bliss. Why don't you follow what I follow just in case? Because you're not losing out on anything. You have the same principles.
People often think that they are smart, and we agree. We all think we are smart. We all like to think we're intelligent. But there is a responsibility of those of us who think we're intelligent, we're smart. We need to reason and use our intellect to be deserving of ourselves to be called intelligent people. So if you think this life is all there is, ask yourself this question. Why is everything programmed to perish? Why is every living thing programmed to die? Why are you programmed within your genomes? Programmed to die. Why? Who programmed you? What programmed you? Allah tells us in the Quran that He will certainly bring you back again like the tips of your fingers. Nothing significant, you might say. There are people who doubt the resurrection. Not the resurrection of those claimed to be God on earth and died, because God doesn't die. God doesn't get raised up. We are talking about our resurrection. That when we die and when we are raised up again by God in the day of judgment. There are people who doubt this second life. Allah tells us He will resurrect us, put us back together like the tip of our fingers. Is there anything interesting about the tip of our fingers? Is there anything noteworthy? Our fingertips has a print. We use these fingerprints in our forensic sciences because our fingerprints are unique. Your fingerprint is different than mine. Your fingerprint is different than mine. And your fingerprint too. Our fingerprints are unique. Allah is reminding us. You think it will be difficult for Allah to recreate you? He will recreate you even to the tip of your fingers, as unique as you were first time. That is how the power of Allah is. So when we are talking about the day of judgment, what is the day of judgment? On that day, when your brother, when your mother, when your son, when your family, there will not be of any help, any avail. يوم يفر المرء من أخيه وأمه وأبيه وصاحبته وبنيه لكل امرئ منهم يومئذ شأن يغنيه. Allah tells us in the Quran, on that day, the mother, the father, the brother, they'll all flee from each other. None of them will come to your help, because on that day, you will be left alone to save yourself. From what? As you started by saying, from the punishment of the hellfire. Do you know who will go to hellfire? Do you know who are the unfortunate ones? Who are these unfortunate people from among us that deserves to go to hellfire? Do we know who they are?
These people are the people who disbelieved in the lordship and the worship and the names and attributes and the judgment of Allah alone. These are the people who ascribe partners with their Lord. The ones who worshipped a cross, the ones who worshipped a tree, the ones who use intermediaries between them and their creator, the ones who worship a man who was nailed to a cross, the ones who worshipped a man who was circumcised, the ones who worshipped a man who worshipped a god. These are the people that will perish. Allah has given you clear-cut warning. This is a reminder from me and Mansur before it is for anyone else, but this is a reminder. And everyone who has eyes and has ears, and that logical brain that we say is different to that of an animal, because we have logical and rational functional brains. It's a test on us now. It's for us to take heed as creation, because we will perish in this world. But then what about that chance that we perish in the next? Now we are Muslim and we introduce you to a book that is free from sin, from anything crooked, that is free from any imperfections. A book that is more sound than the result of billions of dollars and pounds and yen that is put into scientific research.
Do you think the one who knows and the one who doesn't know are equal? Do you think the one who sees and the one who doesn't see are equal? How do you judge people? How do you judge? Use your God-given faculty of intellect and come and return to the worship of your Creator. Return to the worship of the God of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Return to the worship of the God of Jesus, the Son of Mary. Return to the worship of all the prophets and messengers. May God's peace and blessings be upon them. So we are not inviting you or asking you to worship anything that doesn't deserve your worship. We are asking you to reconsider what you worship, if you indeed worship other than Allah, the Creator, the Lord, the Sustainer of this universe. If you are the one who worships other than God Almighty, do you think in the day of judgment you will have an excuse? You can't even justify your belief in worshipping what you worship today, let alone thinking that in the day of judgment you will justify in front of God what you worshipped. Oh people, hellfire is no joke. Hellfire is no joke. Every prophet, every messenger warned of that day, warned of the severe punishment that awaits us. In fact, people, those of the unfortunate ones who are dragged to hellfire, Allah tells us in the Quran the information of the future. Those who are dragged to the hellfire, the gatekeepers of hellfire will ask, Alam ya'tikum nadhir? Did they not come to you warners? They will say, قالوا بلى قد جاءنا نذير فكذبنا وقلنا ما نزل الله من شيء إن أنتم إلا في ضلال كبير. They will say, yes, they came. These warners came, but we belied them, we denied them, we rejected them, and we said, God doesn't reveal anything. You are in plain error. But they will then confess, people, these unfortunate people, it could be me and you, if we reject God. Those unfortunate ones, they will confess. They will say, وَقَالُوا لَوْ كُنَّا نَسْمَعُ أَوْ نَعْقِلُ مَا كُنَّا ما كنا في أصحاب السعير فاعترفوا بذنبهم فسحقا لأصحاب السعير. They said, had we but listened to those warners, to those messengers, to the ambassadors of those messengers, or used our aql, our intellect, we would not have ended in this place. They will confess this. So what we are asking you is this: do not be among those unfortunate ones who will have no chance of return when they realize the truth in the hereafter. And is it because it's the evidence that is lacking, people, that you do not accept the way of life that Allah has ordained for you? Is it because there's a lack of clear evidence that you think, I am not going to accept Islam, I am not going to become a Muslim? Or could it be there are certain bias and prejudice and hindrances and obstacles that you yourself are put up? For example, you think, how am I going to become a Muslim? It's an Arab thing. It's for the people of Middle East. How can I accept Islam? It's for the Arabs. So you thought Jesus Christ was a European? Blue eyes, fair skin, blonde hair? For God's sake, he was from Palestine, from Middle East. Do you think Moses was from England? An Englishman? Where was he from? But it became no obstacle for you. Whether they were from the Middle East, from Palestine, it has become no obstacle for you to accept them. When it comes to Islam, you somehow create an artificial boundary between you and Islam. Or is it because you know about the bombings that are going around today? These people, they are blowing up buses and trains and buildings and planes. Is this why you think Islam is not for you? Were there planes? Well, there were no planes 200 years ago, right? Were there people committing this kind of atrocities 300 years ago? 400 years ago? 500 years ago? 600 years ago? Okay, 300 years ago. We have not. We have a friend here. We have a friend here who's going to now help us to make our case better. My friend, let me start today. Of course, let me start with this question first. Is it true that a lot of Muslims are abusing Islam and blowing up buses, trains, buildings?
I have never heard a single Muslim say that this is a practice from Islam.
Right.
And even if they did, can they find it in the text of the Quran?
Okay.
We stand. Go on.
Let's take this for the sake of argument, right? We want to know, my brother, of course you have a chance. But let me say,
Allow him to finish.
okay, my friend in humanity. Is that fair?
Don't make noises.
Friend, my friend. I want to set the ground first, right? Let's understand the reality. We are seeing a lot of killing, atrocities that is happening in Iraq, in Syria, in Palestine. We're seeing this every day. We want to establish the fact of one thing. Of course we know these people. My brother, excuse me. Excuse me, my brother. Excuse me, please. My friend.
Yes, sir.
We want to establish one fact, which is this. Even though we know that these people who are committing these atrocities, they claim to be Muslims, right? We want to know whether they are getting this from... Do you want me to end this discussion?
Carry on, Aki, just speak.
Right. Okay, thank you. We want to know... My brother, please.
Yes.
Allow my friend to listen to what I have to say. We want to know whether this is a teaching of Islam or not. Because if this is a teaching of Islam, it's a horrible religion. It's a religion that we should all shun, reject, abandon, and fight against. If this was a teaching of Islam, because that teaching is really what? Horrible, killing innocent people. So as Muslims, me and my brother here, we'd like to give opportunity to you to establish this fact. If this indeed is a teaching of Islam or not. If this was a teaching of Islam, we would see the killing of innocent people being what? Commonplace all the time in the history of Islam. So we are seeing this today. People think it's linked to the teaching of Islam. So now let's roll back. 200 years ago, were Muslims like them killing innocent people indiscriminately anywhere? Sorry? 200 years ago, Banu Nazir. Oh, now my friend realizes, excuse me, listen.
Before 200 years ago.
My friend, look, we want to establish what we call a principle, right? So you,
they attacked.
You are not.
What's a Wahhabi?
About
Don't worry about it. Okay, my friend, look, do not make yourself a laughing stock.
No, you are laughing stock. No, because
look,
you don't accept
I don't want to be a laughing stock. That's why we will establish a fact. I am simply, listen.
I will give you proof.
Hello, my friend. What's your name?
Doesn't matter what is my name.
Doesn't matter. Okay, Mr. Doesn't matter. My name is Mansur. What's your name, brother?
Mohammed.
Mohammed. Now, listen. Listen.
You are in the corner.
Excuse me. Listen. If you don't listen, then we won't give you the opportunity to engage with us. What we are saying is this: 200 years ago, we should expect Muslims indiscriminately killing, butchering innocent people around the globe. If the teaching of Islam was that. So start by yourself naming where 200 years ago Muslims were doing that. Start your Google. 200 years ago, where were Muslims killing innocent people like they're doing today?
200 years ago?
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about 1,400.
So you don't know. Okay, let me help you again. 300 years ago. Wait. Listen.
Till today,
You know what? I think you are not able to deal with this intelligently enough.
then we come back to
What I am establishing is this, my brother. Listen. Brother, excuse me. What we are establishing is this.
Iranian, what they do?
Akhi, please. The killing that is happening today, if the killing is done because of the teaching of Islam, then we would expect, logically, that Muslims, just like today, they should be killing yesterday and the day before and the decade before and the century before, throughout, isn't it? Because if that is the religion, if that's the teaching. Remember, religion of terror is terrorism. They are not going to sit there and say, you know what, we are taking a break. So 200 years ago, where was those Muslims? Which Muslims? Good Muslims who follow the religion, which supposedly, according to your logic, says kill innocent people. So 200 years ago, you can't find an example. Let's go back a century, 300 years ago. Where were those good Muslims 300 years ago, killing, torturing, annihilating innocent civilians, innocent people? Anyone? Do you know?
Sir, what time
Okay, 400 years ago. You know what? He's silent because he cannot name even a single group, single nation, single example. Do you know why? Okay.
You give me a chance.
Wait. Do you know why you are incapable of finding an example 200 years ago?
I will tell you.
Okay.
You have it 400 years ago?
400 years ago.
I will tell you.
Go on, 400 years ago.
No. You give me me a chance. I'll go back
No,
from the beginning.
no, 400 years ago.
I will go from the beginning.
No.
1,400
Okay, 500 years ago.
till now.
Okay, that's it. You are bye-bye. Do you know why you